Alright, so today we are looking at the Parker 58cc chainsaw, very similar to the 62cc chainsaw that they sell, but I think it's better because it's so much cheaper and not that different in power. So yeah, I bought this off eBay, £116 it was, really cheap for a decent chainsaw, and it's got some good points and some bad points. I'm going to try and cover them all in this video. I haven't seen a lot of YouTube videos on this saw, so I thought might as well give it some credit where credit's due. I haven't contacted the company at all, besides when I contacted customer services, because my bar mysteriously stopped working, and I just wanted to see how they would deal with it, because I figure a good review, it comes with a 2-year warranty. You got to check if that warranty is a real warranty, or if they're just going to fob me off or be really hard to get to. So yeah, the sprocket on the end of my bar mysteriously stopped working. I don't really know what happened there, but I phoned them up and they wanted to see a little video just to understand exactly what the problem was. I sent them like a 5-second video and they sent me out a new bar, absolutely no questions asked. They never actually asked me how I damaged it, they just said, what's the problem? And when I told them that the sprocket wasn't turning, there's a new bar. So I've given them a 10 out of 10 for customer services. Very quick answer on the phone, very quick answer in emails, everything. So I'm really impressed with that. And yeah, other good things. It's quite reliable. Well, I say quite reliable, it's never not started, it's started every time. The chain seems to be decent quality, it doesn't stretch that much. And I've only had to sharpen it once in 11 fuel tanks, so that's pretty standard. Yeah, it's fast cutting. I do have a tree surgeon out here somewhere. He's away picking mushrooms or something like that, but yeah, might ask him his thoughts on it. He's obviously not super keen to talk about it because this is not the kind of saw he deals with very often. But Martin, do you want to come talk about my little cheapy saw here? What have you found?
I've got some Scarlet Elf cups here, so he really wasn't joking. I am out getting edible mushrooms.
Picking mushrooms. So
I'm going to put these in my wee pocket.
If you didn't already know, my buddy Martin here has his own Bushcraft YouTube channel, Greener Glens, and does all sorts of cool stuff on that, so go check it out if you got the time. And yeah, what are your thoughts on my top of the range saw?
Top of the range, yeah.
is that a slight stretch?
That might be a slight misnomer. Yeah, well, to be fair, I think you're right. Like, I'm not used to dealing with budget chainsaws, but I can give you a basic rundown of my thoughts on it, certainly. From what I can see, I've had a quick shot of it, and it seems pretty sturdy, I have to say. I'm quite surprised at how sturdy it feels. It has got all the features that I would expect from a chainsaw. Everything seems to be good. I mean, it's slightly, I can see why some of the features might be slightly less durable and robust than some of the Pro saws. Again, you've mentioned the chain brake, it's very plasticky. It's only got one point of attachment, which means you're going to leverage a lot, you're going to get a lot of wobble. But, you know, if the components are good, that might be okay, it might last you a long time. Your choke lever here is a little bit exposed. I can see that getting possibly knocked and damaged. But again, if you take care of it, there's no reason why that wouldn't last a long time. The ergonomics of the saw are actually pretty good. I quite like how it cuts. It's got a nice grip on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think of this? Because none of the Stihls have got this sort of textured grip.
No, all the Pro saws tend to just have a smooth grip on it. This has got this texturing on it, and it's also got the sort of handlebar type finger grooves that sort of help to keep your thing. I think it's because most people, grip it in different ways. If you're going to be using it for firewood, chances are most of your cutting is going to be in this plane, so you're not really going to shift between there and there very often. But if you're using a Pro saw, you're likely to have like a million different positions that you're going to be, whatever position you find yourself in. So maybe that's why they don't do it that way. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems pretty good. Yeah, the anti-vibration, you can feel it. You can feel it working and flexing. It's quite stiff. I noticed as I was cutting, the anti-vibration is reasonably stiff. That might be a good thing. Any kind of anti-vibration is a good thing. And it starts well. It's got a very nice cushiony start on it, but plenty of compression. It seems to start up fairly reliably. Everything else, it looks pretty good. So yeah, I mean,
well, there you have it. It comes with a toolkit, all the fancy stuff, a spare chain, scrunch tool. So quite often these are really low quality. This one, it's not the best quality, but it's decent, you know. It comes with a little file for sharpening it. I wouldn't say any of them are top quality, but they're good enough for if you're just a home user. It just gives you everything you need. Something I do think is worth mentioning is I used really premium 2-stroke oil for this, so it asks for 25:1 mix, and I used the K2 formula. It's Go-Kart 2-stroke oil, and it's really good stuff. So I didn't mess about with like really cheap low-end 2-stroke oil, because I feel like that's just asking for trouble. And if you want your saw to last long, buy the good stuff. So yeah, having said that, other good things. Nice grippy handle. Throttle response is really fast, like the revs climb really quick, which is good for a cheaper saw. Bar is nice and long, it comes with a 20-inch bar, which really gets you through pretty much anything you're going to be cutting up for firewood and things like that. Air filter's easy to get to, just kind of like the Husqvarna's, just a little pop stud thing. I would say the air filter is not the best quality, it's just a wee sort of micro mesh thing, but I haven't had any problems with it, and totally waterproof. I've been out in the rain all day, this thing got soaked, didn't affect it at all. Been out in freezing cold temperatures, -5 degrees centigrade, ran fine. So yeah, that's all the good things, but I'm pretty sure you want to hear about the bad things. So this chain brake is, well, it hasn't broken and it does work. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but it just feels like it could break.
Try and test the inertia chain brake. One out of 3 times on the inertial chain brake, so not ideal, but it certainly stops it when it goes. But you should be seeing when that goes, and that was hitting it that hard, the inertia chain brake should kick in, so the chain brake should engage before you have to touch the handle. So that's why I was doing that there. But 1 in 3 times is not great, but the really hard ones did kick in.
The power switch is kind of awkwardly placed. I feel like they could put that in a better place. Or at least make it just a little bit harder to press, because quite often if you're holding this full pin and you slide up, it's very easy for your knuckle to just slide up and flick it off. That's happened to me a few times. So, you know, it's not a major problem. It's more for when you're just, you know, limbing trees and things. Just every now and then it just cuts out and then you got to start it again. It didn't happen that often, but yeah, it's definitely something to note. Whether it stops you buying it, I don't know. I wouldn't be that worried about it. So, other thing is the chain is not a standard size, sort of compared to the Stihl saws and Husqvarna saws. The pitch is different. So if you buy this, you need to sort of stick with the China chains or the Parker chains, which, like I say, it didn't stretch that much. I've not had a problem with it. It stayed really sharp. So again, if you're not using it for professional use, then I don't think you'll have a problem with the chain. It does cut really nicely and it stays sharp. But yeah, I just noticed that if you want to get a Stihl bar or anything like that, you can't, unless you change the sprocket on the actual power unit. So that's, I guess it's not a major problem, but I'm trying to talk about cons here. The dogs were kind of rounded at the end. I took a file and just made them pointy. I'm probably going to change them completely because they're just a little bit on the little side. Other things are, you know, the fuel cap can be a little bit hard on the fingers, but you can just put your scrunch tool in there and lever it open if you really need to. I've not had any problems with fuel leaking or anything like that. It does have a nice rubber washer there, which is all good. Yeah, it's oh, in fact, other plus sides, things I never spoke about. It comes with this bag, which for a cheap saw is really, really handy, because you know, I've got all sorts of stuff in here. I've got extra bar oil, wedges. I actually put in, you know, this kit, which is the first aid kit. Very important that you always carry a first aid kit when you've got your saw. But yeah, all that fits in with the saw. Can't quite get a 5 litre fuel tank in there with it. But it, you know, how much can you ask for? So I just, like I say, I keep all the tools that I need for it in there. Some earplugs. Just really handy to have a bag to put everything in. Also keeps it all nice and neat in your workshop. You don't end up misplacing things. Alright, so there you have it. I've tried to cover as many things as I can with this review. I would buy it again, definitely. I think it's a good saw for the money. It does exactly what I want it to, and obviously if you're using it for professional use, then it's, you know, the problems are going to be sort of longevity of it. When we put it up against that Stihl MS260, you know, it cut the same speed, but that still was 10 years old, and I doubt this would last 10 years in that sort of environment. Things would just break. It's not built to the same spec, so yeah, hopefully you're not thinking that. But if you're using it for, you know, just getting your firewood once every couple of weeks or months, that's absolutely no bother for it. And I've tried to be as honest as I can with this review, and big thanks to Martin for helping out with you know, just giving his thoughts. It's nice to get thoughts of somebody who uses a chainsaw every day for, you know, years and years and years. So that's really cool. Go check out Greener Glens Bushcraft on YouTube, because he actually has a really cool bushcraft channel. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I can think of for this. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I will keep you posted if it breaks or if anything goes wrong with it. I will definitely mention it. Where'd he go?